Welcome back to Artists Exposed with Tym Moss. I am Tym Moss, and we are out in Astoria, Queens today at the Bel Aire Diner, and I am here with film producer and writer and actor and director, Mr. GEORGE ZOUVELOS. How you doing?
Good. Nice to see you.
Always good to see you.
Always. I haven't seen you since July 12th when we had the screening.
Yes, absolutely, of Once a Week for Life, which we will be talking about in just a few minutes here. So how have you been doing?
I'm good. I'm very grateful that all the actors have keep coming out supporting us, and we've had a good response. It's out and about, and it's on TV everywhere, and it's ready to rent to buy it, and that's great.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk GEORGE ZOUVELOS for a little bit.
Sure.
All right, so we're in Astoria. Are you from Astoria originally?
Born in Manhattan, raised in Astoria, and this is my hood.
Yeah.
I'm known as Mr. Astoria Wood.
I could understand that. I could see that. He walks in the diner, everybody's like, "Hey, George, how you doing? How you doing?" So these are your stomping grounds here.
They are. They are our stomping grounds, and the Astoria is very historical. We have the Museum of Moving Image here. We have Kaufman Studios. We have Wildflower Studios with Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Across the boulevard, we have Silver Cup Studios. So Buster Keaton filmed here, and you know. Just a lot of history here.
Absolutely. A lot of entertainment history right here in Astoria, Queens. And I took the train over and then took the bus. So, I mean, I haven't been out to Astoria for a long time. It's just, I agree. It's really a beautiful part of the city.
It is. It's one of those last bastions of community where you have old school, new school that meld very nicely together. In fact, the National Genome Project from the National Geographic called Astoria the most diverse ethnically languages and DNA in North America, South America.
I could see that because it's just everything, all kinds of restaurants, and Colombian restaurants and Indian restaurant, everything.
Everything. You know, Chinese, Vietnamese, Taiwanese, Indian, Greek, of course, Italian. The only thing we don't have is a good Jewish deli. I'm dying for a nice pastrami sandwich. And they used to be, but not anymore.
Yeah, but that's what I love about Astoria is all the little mom and pop stores and shops and oh god, because in Manhattan, so many of those have been run out. And they put a CVS in or something in its place.
They take out the little mom and pop shops and put in a bank.
Yeah.
But we are the sum of our parts, right? I mean, we are, irrespective of where we come from, we are New York City. We are New Yorkers, and that's what we would become identity-wise.
Absolutely.
A New Yorker is a New Yorker no matter where you're from.
Yes. So now you and I met at the theater, at the American Theater for Actors. I had covered An Evening with Onassis, and you were the assistant director of that show.
I was, and in fact, the director of that show, which was starring the one-man show, Anthony Scorti, who was in Paramount Pictures' The Offer, was Dick Grant Tulane. He's a very close friend of mine. Yeah. Dick Grant is a protagonist in Once a Week for Life as Captain Zeke Levy. So that's, friendships endure.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that. I love how you include friends or people that you know or that you worked with. Even in Once a Week for Life, I'm in the final installation in the last episode, and you've even invited me to perform or to act in it, which I was grateful for.
Well, what I've done is marry actors that, unlike me, have been in over 200 Academy Award-winning Primetime Emmy, Screen Actors Guild and awards, and with professional performers that have outstanding talent but never had the opportunity to act, with people that were in Coda, The Shape of Water, The Departed, Goodfellas, Sopranos, and the litany of films and television, outstanding careers of all these actors. And the great actors like we're featuring is Diana Durango, who's the female lead, right? You have Arthur Hugh and Jimmy Schertz and of course, Dick Grant's been around, but you have very good actors that are otherwise unknowns that now they're being seen on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and we're going to the UK on June 15th, New Zealand and Australia, and to 20 Latin American countries. I mean,
oh my God, I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see what people have to say. What we think, it doesn't make a difference.
Absolutely. So the name of the show is Once a Week for Life. It is now on Apple TV.
Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Dish, Directory, Fandango at Home, YouTube. Rented, it's very cheap to rent, like $3-4.99. To buy it, you want to buy it because you're not going to know what's going on really until you see it twice.
Yeah.
I mean, really appreciate the rawness of it.
Right, I agree.
And you'll own it forever.
No, I agree. It's one of those that you can revisit and watch over and over again.
And it's
Because there's so many little hidden gems inside.
the most important thing that you should understand and the viewers to understand is there's footnotes to the whole film, and it has to do with things that are really real in society today. Mental illness, alcoholism, PTSD, veterans, domestic emotional abuse.
Yep.
That wasn't a mistake for entertainment. The entertainment masks the real abuses and torments people go on in their heads, and it's real, and it's prevalent in society, in every society.
Now, in your past, you have been a paramedic and also in law enforcement.
I have, and those experiences on early part of my life, way before my frontal lobe developed as a man, with all the foolishness and all the seriousness. I mean, from delivering over 20 children to taking people out from underneath trains and people who jumped out of buildings, and it shapes your sardonic and morbid sense of reality, and that is to mask the tragedy that your brain doesn't want to want to understand.
Yeah, because I for one, I couldn't do that. I could not see that every day. It's just not in me. I give that to you because you see the dark side of humanity, like
and also the very brightest side of humanity. Because I started out in this neighborhood. I was part of the Boy Scouts at the St. Demetrius Cathedral, which gave me that big early on as citizenship. And then I worked for the Astoria Community Volunteer Ambulance Corps, which is now defunct, where I met all my contemporaries, that many of which were in 9/11. Some of them didn't make it. But neither here or there, everything we do is in honor of those who have come before us. And we celebrate their lives when they can't celebrate their lives any longer by we enduring and telling the stories of the street and about humanity that are real.
Yep, absolutely. So there was a lot of your experiences or things that you might have observed that you've included in this.
A lot of things, like early on conversations I've heard in little Italian stores and social clubs and things that I was involved in, sweeping the floor or what have you, working at a deli, and things that we try to put into the light that in a non-stereotypical way. We're not disparaging to anyone.
Right.
And it's not hard to do it. Because everybody wants everybody to speak, hey, Tony, what are you doing? We don't do that in our film. People speak, the syndicate or the senior mob is very highly evolved psychopaths, and they're business owners. And they come together and they have a conversation of a serious issue regarding Lieutenant Adam Galanis, which is played by me. And the film is not about them, it's about my character as I tumble through a merciless life while balancing on a razor's edge. That's what the film's about. It's not if you want a high body count film, you want to see an arbitrary and capricious nipple, you're not going to see it in my film.
That's true. That's true. Now, one question I have. This is a 4-part series.
It's a 3-part series, and the film, it took us very little time to film it, believe it or not. But to edit it, there's make it into a series, make it into a film. Well, making a film and making a series are two different two very different things. But what we had was 2 completed films at the same time, and that's what we have. The second installment will probably come out in September.
Okay.
Each story has a beginning, middle, and end.
Right. But the thing is that each episode leaves you wanting more. I want to see what happens next.
Well, it's purposely designed that every film that I make, whether it's in my short films, which have won at the Cannes Short Film Festival, or in London, or out in the Monterey Film Festival, minor things. I shouldn't even mention them. But what they did was they helped me craft what I did want to do, how I wanted to be as a filmmaker, and utilize some of the celebrated art forms, either from France or Italy in the early days of filming, and then couple them with a Scorsese or a Tarantino or Wes Anderson, a Spielberg. And every scene has a different flavor, and New York is our canvas. That's why we filmed 100% on location. Right. This restaurant we filmed in here, it has its own flavor. We don't need the set design.
Yep, absolutely.
We filmed in Leedy's Shorefront Inn, which is now closed. It was over 110 years old, of fireman dander and sweat in the opening scenes. And the set designer would be like, "What do you want me to do here?" I said, "None, just sit there and wait." You know, because this thing has set itself.
Yep, absolutely. And that's what's so cool about this is that the scenery is almost a character. Like the location is a character all its own in this.
It is a celebration of New York City.
Yes, yes.
All of New York City. And not in a cliche way where you see the Empire State Building or the Brooklyn Bridge, everything that's iconic.
This is about like real life
It's
stuff.
about the neighborhoods.
Yes,
if it might have been filmed in Astoria primarily, but it could be in a neighborhood near you.
Absolutely.
And the people could be anywhere.
Yeah,
You know, so
One question I have: did all of this come to you at one time, like the whole thing from beginning to end, or did it kind of unroll as you started writing it?
The truth be told, I had treatments made inside chapters with characters that I built out later on. But the main script was done as part of a 1,500-page manuscript that it was done during COVID.
Wow.
Out of a piece of paper I had in a coffee can by my bed, right? And I have 5 coffee cans. I'll show you a picture later. And my wife goes to me, "There's COVID living in that, and we need to sanitize the house." And I'm like, "Don't be silly. Anything that's lived in there is dead a long time ago." So she goes to me, "Pull something out of the can and write something about it, or we're going to throw it out." So, you know, the wife's, you know, I'm the head, but she's the neck, and she moves my head any way she wants. So I reluctantly reached for the can that had a yellow lid. Anything with a yellow lid means it was caution, it has hurt, it has pain for me emotionally.
Wow.
And I had little pieces of paper that had how I felt that day. And one particular piece of paper, which I pulled out, was a greasy hamburger napkin piece of paper that I smelled. And you can smell the grease from, you know, I think it was from, I forget, Soupberg in Manhattan back in the day. And it started out with Adam. I started out with Eve in black because I always use the predecessor to the Uniball. Now I use a Uniball pen, right? And that's not an advertising for them. It's just a more permanent ink. And it can write over grease. And then I ran out of ink. And then I reached into my backpack and I only had a red Bic. And then I put an Adam. And I wrote 3 sentences. And people are like, "Why do you have a red pen?" It's because when I was a kid, sorry about that, the teachers would always write bad notes to my mother in red. George Wiseau, this, you know, so-and-so. And the reality about it is some way by buying that red Bic pen that was filled with ink I never used before, I was trying to get power back from my childhood.
Yeah,
away
interesting.
From, you know,
interesting.
Right? The whole film has stuff like that in it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of symbolism, a lot of footnotes and stuff. So,
yeah. Now, just pinpointing again, because it's one thing to write an epic film like this or presentation like this. It's another thing to direct it,
right?
Which is the angles, the camera, the location, like where you're going to do it, how you want to present it, how you want it felt, and what you're trying to relay. And then you also have the acting, which is the emotion and where that character is at that particular moment. And then you also have producing, which is everything, getting all of that and pulling it all together. And you did all of those things on Once a Week for Life. How? and it was such a huge production.
As a writer, my job is to take ink and mark parchment. And it's usually done very late at night when the dog is not barking. I have a rescue dog, Chihuahua, named Frodo Baggins. And the kids are asleep, and my wife is like, "Yeah, you should have came up 3 hours ago," right? But that's when it's quiet and the thoughts come out of your head. As a director, my job is done when I have a cast member actualize the parchment, the white behind the black. So, and the actors that I have, they like working with me is because I let them be what I cast them to be. I'm not telling them how to act. They really should be plug and play. They get a little background. You know, none of the actors had the whole story.
Right. That was another thing. Yeah.
You had your scene. You asked me what the hell's going on here. I give you a little background. You're here. You're pissed off. Your wife just kicked you out. You haven't gotten any nookie for a month. Act. And then they would get into character. And that scene with the conference room scene with all the mafiosi. They've never been in that room. It wasn't rehearsed. It was cold.
Wow.
And it was one take on each side. That's it.
Wow. And each one had such an individual take on it, like of their characters.
They sure did. And I would give them an adjective or two to describe their character, and they would think about it and they would actualize their character, because just at that table you have Armengaro from The Departed, you got Robert Fornaro also from The Sopranos, Tony Darrow, legendary Tony Darrow, Paul Borghese, John Bianco, Artie Pasquale.
Yeah.
You have an actor, Steve Raplogle from Massachusetts, a brilliant actor, not known. You had Jimmy Schertz on his first IMDb credit. He did an excellent job. You know, you have Lou Martini, who was in The Godfather as a kid, you know. So you have all these actors, and you figure you have big egos, right? And at least I had a preconceived notion that they might. And since I never had them together in a one room ever, and I only had a couple of hours with them, I didn't have much runway. They worked hand in glove seamlessly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, they would feed off of each other. And that's what actors are, diamonds. And diamonds don't shine, they reflect.
Yeah.
You reflect the shine off of your other actor. You let the other actor win the scene, you look like a winner. And that fed that whole table, and we were done in no time.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the cast. How did you cast this? Was that intentional? Like, did you have these actors in mind, and approach them, or go through a casting agency? Or
no, I didn't use a cast. Fiat Lux Studios would cast the cast, which is my company. The idea was, I didn't want actors that had blown out their characters in other films.
Right.
And the actors that I picked, some of them, like Dick Wren, was in my head. Armengaro, you know, Robert Fornaro. Armin says, I know Robert Fornaro for The Underboss. I says, you know, I was thinking about the same thing. Robert goes, I know John Bianco. Bianco goes, you got to get Paul Borghese. He goes, I can get my cousin Tony.
Oh my God, I love this.
You know, and it's one brought the other, and it was on or about my selections on my list.
Wow.
And I picked an absolute nobody known, Jimmy Schertz, who ended up being a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And very believable. And he's so naturally Jimmy Schertz. That he's this flamboyant, arrogant, you know, guy who's like, for a lot, he's the bulldog for the mob. And then I picked Bruce Sosia to be the heavy, the criminal, for lack of a better term, because we're all criminals in one way or another, right? To play that face you know, you say he looks like a criminal, right?
Yeah.
Because we buy with our eyes, right? Bruce is actually a sweetheart in real life, but when he acts like a bad guy, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, it's scary.
He's a mean dog, right? And it just worked out well that way. And you know, Arthur Hugh that came down with Stu, and Diana Durango was able to bring us Judy, who played the waitress, and then here we filmed Donna Joy, who was a dream. Who when I come in and I'm talking to the man who's a woman, and my baby mama with the little itty bitty fruit cup, they'll see it. And the whole idea was actors act the way they act naturally. And organically. I'm like, so how would you do it? Like Martin Scorsese does that all the time. Armengaro was telling me, I know that's what it says in the script, but what do you think? Because, well, I didn't want to say nothing, but he wouldn't say that. You know, and I would take that advice. We would do it both ways, and whatever was good, I kept.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. But I was just so blown away by the cast. Can you just mention like some of the other work that these actors had been on? Like, there's a couple of them were in The Sopranos.
A handful of them were in The Sopranos, The Departed, American Gangster,
right?
Coda, the Academy Award winning from Coda, the Academy Award winning film The Shape of Water.
Yes, right.
They've been on Ray Donovan. They've been on Shameless. They've been on, and the list goes on and on and on, where the list of shows and films that didn't win Emmys or the Matlock, Fugitive. Danny Roebuck was in The Fugitive, right?
Yeah.
And it's just there's, and he plays Eve's father, which is by Danny Roebuck plays the dad, and Eve, the female lead, plays Eve, the nurse, the head nurse, right?
Yeah.
And those nurses at the bar, one of them was like a second or first grade NYPD detective. So in real life, so she goes, I'd slam dunk him. You know, that was a line. She goes, I wouldn't say that. I would say this. I said, okay, then say that.
Excellent.
Then say that. Whatever's organic. You know.
Oh my God. Well, can you tell, without giving too much away, can you tell everybody what Once a Week for Life is about?
Once a Week for Life is a story of a man who's a combat veteran with undiagnosed PTSD, and he has a lot of wounds on him. So he self-medicates with Percocet, does a lot of drugs, and drinks a lot to forget the pains of his past.
Right.
And he's head of the fugitive task force. He won't take the money from the mob. And the cops think the old way of doing business in the city is over. These old dinosaurs got to go. So they're looking to jam him up to take his pension.
Yeah.
Nothing about it is cliche. So the first part, the first film focuses on how the mob tries to get him, and the second film focuses on how they both try to get him.
Yeah.
The syndicate and also the police department.
Right.
Okay, I mean, they're in cahoots. They become this cabal of Adam Galanis haters, you know. And Adam's attitude is justice demands blood, you know. And you know, one wants him dead, the other one wants him gone. Adam ain't going nowhere. And he's not a Van Damme character or Steven Seagal. He's just a wrecking ball. You know, you've seen it. You know, Adam is not a superhero. Adam is just a bombastic, unforgiving, the whole film is unapologetic. And it's
and like you said, raw. It's unlike anything you've seen that's out there now.
Like anything that's out there?
No, I have not.
You're like, oh, I think it's two films. No, it's not two films. It's about a character that deals with a duality of his life, his personal life. Adam is tender with his mother.
Right.
He's a tender lover.
Yeah.
But that same person who goes to church and prays for forgiveness with Al Sapienza, another tremendous actor, who did his cameos in it, is the same guy who's, you know, throwing people in the river.
Yep.
You know, and it's like I said, it's not a mob film, and it's not a gangster film, and it's, if you want a high body count and you want to get some cheap thrills out of it, my film is just a story. And if I can make you, like Siskel and Ebert used to say, if a film can make me forget about moving my car for alternate side of the street, or that I had to do a load of laundry, it did its job at being entertaining.
Absolutely.
And you see actors that you have not seen before. You will be seeing a lot of these actors.
Absolutely. And
including yourself.
And I see some of them like on other things on television or something. Oh my God, yeah.
One of them is the Mujaro guy.
Oh, yes.
Thomas Moynihan, another great actor.
Yeah, it's Once a Week for Life is really an incredible. What do you refer to it as? Not a movie, not a series, but as
it's a New York story.
As a New York story. It really is quite incredible. And George Zouvelos here stars, directed, wrote, and produced Once a Week for Life. And how can people find out more about it?
Well, they can watch it on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, mostly, Google Play and YouTube and Dish and DirecTV. I think it's also on Plex On Demand, and just type in Once a Week for Life, not like the scratch off. Has nothing to do with that. You can find me with my funny Volley name, George Zouvelos, and you'll put it at the bottom of the screen, how to spell my name. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Yep.
You know, I'm very friendly. Just don't send me any unsolicited picture.
Yeah, right.
I've been getting a lot of that lately.
Well, George Zouvelos, it is always such a pleasure to see you.
Thank you for being on our journey.
Absolutely, and thank you for including me on this. And I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for this story. That is, again, it's so original and so fresh and so different. That's why I recommend everybody check it out. Check it out for yourself.
Also in the third film. You're written in the script.
The third.
Also, which we haven't filmed yet, God willing.
Oh, okay, good. Well, you let me know anytime.
I will.
I'll do anything for George Zouvelos here. All right, thank you.
See you soon.